You're already dead.
Why did this happen? I felt like I was coming down with something. Like, it used to be that I'd at least have a couple hours in a day where I didn't feel terrible. The last few years, I don't ever remember not feeling absolutely awful. Doc, how much time is left?
It's all over. You're dead.
All over? Like any minute now?
No minutes, no seconds. You're dead.
Dead?
Dead.
Dead?
Dead.
Dead? Dead?
Dead. Yes.
Great.
Dead.
How long have I been dead for?
20 years.
20 years?
Yes, in fact, you owe like 2 decades.
Terrific! This is just great! This is wonderful! I'm probably the only guy in the universe that's dead and still has to make monthly payments. Doc, what did I die of? What was it? Was it leukemia?
Boredom.
Was it hypoglycemia?
Boredom.
Was it TB?
It was boredom.
MS? PMS?
Boredom.
TM?
Boredom. Ennui. Seriousness. Repetition. Of course, I'll have to write it up as death from natural causes. That's all water under the bridge now.
Water under the bridge? That's easy for you to say. What am I going to tell my wife and kids? Oh, what am I going to tell little Doopy? I'm sorry, son. Your dad's out of here. You kicked the bucket a decade before you were born. No, be a good little boy and go do your homework. Doc, is there any chance of a revision?
No hope. Going on this far, why not just continue? We've got some terrific literature, and there's so many excellent support groups that are already dead. Nurse Rat,
Yes.
you might as well cancel that call to my broker. I'm not interested in playing the market today. Cancel that golf day, too.
Doctor, do you think you might be coming down with something?
Oh, I guess so.
No.
Say, Nurse Rat, would you like to catch a movie tonight?
Well, that depends. What's playing?
Well, The Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, I've seen it 18 times.
15 for me. Pick you up at 8.
Great.
Good evening. My name is Buckhead. Originally, I was supposed to open and give you the little introduction to this evening, but unfortunately, I got tied up at work, was running late, it's been a hectic day, and just managed to get here. What's going on at work is, I'm on the board of C&S Bank, and things have been so busy because we got this big offer from NCNB on the buyout. You know, they offered us 2.4 billion potatoes for the old bank, and it's been going back and forth, one big guy threatening the other big guy, and on and on. And finally, things came to a head today. We were going to try to wind up the deal, and they wanted to know what I thought about it and what we should do. And they said, Buck, what do you think? I said, boys, let me see the offer. So they gave me the offer sheet, and sure enough, there it is in black and white. They want to give us 2.4 billion shekels for the old bank. So I looked at my partners and I said, are you guys crazy? Take the money. There's nothing here. What do we own? Maybe 40 or 50 buildings, a bunch of paperwork on everybody's bad debts and who owes what whom, and there's nothing else. Take the money. You guys are nuts. And of course, they looked at me and said, well, is that all there is to it, Buck? And I said, well, no, because we all know that there's nothing that kills a deal faster than just saying yes. If they'd offered us the money and we'd said yes and they said okay, somebody would have died before the deal closed. It just doesn't work that way. So I said, boys, this deal needs a couple of conditions. They said, Buck, do you have anything in mind? I said, well, I've been thinking. I got a couple of conditions. Let's take your money, just like it says here on the offer sheet, but we're going to put a couple of conditions on the name. You know, this town doesn't need another bank with just initials for a name. There's already C&S and NDG, and it doesn't need NCNB, so let's put a name condition on the thing and call it maybe, I don't know, Bucks Bank. Something with a little ring to it, something that's got maybe a wildlife image in the name. I think that would do well in Atlanta. And maybe a unusual spelling like B-U-X-B-A-N-Q-U-E. Bucks Bank. For that little professional touch. But that's not the whole story either. Part of what else is going on is a couple of weeks ago I was out in a comedy club watching a show, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, I was the only person in the crowd laughing, and it just went on and on like that through the whole evening. Nobody else was laughing, and for some reason, whoever was up there just cracked me up. And towards the end of the show, these people approached me and said that anybody who laughs that much has got to have a great sense of humor. And we got to talking, one thing led to another, and lo and behold, they were Evotech talent scouts looking for somebody to do a little part in this show. And I said, well, this is obviously absurd. I'm a banker. Bankers have no sense of humor. You got the wrong guy. They were so insistent, and they were such nice people that I just found myself unable to say no, and instead said, yes, I'll do it. And immediately afterwards wondered, how in the hell am I going to get out of this one? So I got to thinking about it, and it seemed to me the best thing to do was to do sort of a serious treatment on comedy, you know, something with some real substance and meaning to it, because after all, not all comedy has to be funny. So I did the only reasonable thing I could, went to the library to do some research and see what the great body of Western thought had to say about comedy. And to my amazement, it didn't have anything to say about comedy. Apparently, everything that has been said about comedy is funny. And there is no theory of comedy. So I was getting desperate, went back to the office, and did the only thing I could really do. I got on the horn, picked up the phone, and started calling around. And, you know, because of my position and because there were a few bucks behind me, I was able to get in touch with some of the very big boys in comedy. I mean, some of the big national names, people that you'd probably like to hear about. And I'd like to tell you their names, but unfortunately, it was part of the agreement that I couldn't really speak candidly about who they are, but I did go straight to the top, and I learned a lot of the inside skinny on comedy. The first thing I learned was that comedians never laugh. If you say something funny to them, they go, that's funny. And if you say something real funny to them, they go, That's real funny. And if you tell them the funniest thing you ever heard of in your whole life, they go, that's real funny. But we got to talking, and I learned a lot of other little tricks of the trade. One of the other main ones is never tell anybody you're a comedian. They never take you seriously. I mean, I know over at the bank, we tell our loan officers, if they come in wanting money, you got to ask them what they do for a living, and if they say they're a comedian, unless they can maybe collateralize the loan for 200%, we're probably going to find a reason not to give them the money. Or if you're caught speeding and the cop pulls you over, and like he always does, he says, what's your hurry? And you say, well, I'm late for work. He says, what do? You say, well, I'm a comedian. It's not likely to help you beat the rap. And of course, the last time that you want to say I'm a comedian is if you're ever talking to an audience. I mean, just think about it. If I walked out here and said, hello, my name is Buckhead and I'm a comedian, the first thing you probably think is, that's not funny. Another big problem the comedians face is how to get that first laugh out there. Because there's this agreement, the audience says, you know, I'm not going to laugh till you make me. And there are ways that the professionals deal with that, and it's pretty amazing if you think back on some episodes that you probably observed, like, for example, if you're, say, home in bed watching Carson and Letterman, and they say something in their opening monologue, and it's about maybe funny enough to make you go, and you hear 10,000 people in the studio audience just peal with laughter, and especially after everybody else finishes laughing, there's one or two people that sounds like they're always up in the back, that they're just, you know, beyond control, about to just split apart with laughter, and all that got out of you was, well, there's something going on there. It's the same kind of thing that goes on if a really funny comedian walks out on stage. A lot of times, people will start laughing before he even says or does or says anything. Like somebody really funny, like Dan Quayle. Just start laughing. So what's going on? I can tell you the inside secret. It's pretty simple. These people are getting paid to laugh. That's right. You may have noticed it yourself here this evening. If you're sitting here and you're going around there and someone next to you is really cracking up, I'll be honest with you, you're probably sitting next to someone who's on the payroll. And I don't want to close the door to anybody who wants to make an extra couple of bucks this evening. So if you want to get in on the payroll, you know, I can see who's out there. I know what y'all are up to. If somebody wants to participate with a couple of belly laughs, get with me after the show, and I'll work with you. And frankly, I'm in a good position to do something with this offer on the table from the Bank of North Carolina. So keep it mind what you got to do. It's up to you. There's no pressure for me. There's another dynamic I discovered of the relationship between the comedian and the audience, and I mentioned part of it already, and that is that the audience says, I'm not going to laugh till you make me, and the comedian goes, oh God, how am I going to get out of this? So there is the money solution, which is a good one to fall back on. There's another way to address that, and that is to present your comedy as so sophisticated, so highbrow, that, you know, suggests that if you don't get what these jokes are, you're probably hitting on about 2 cylinders. So that way the pressure's back on you to laugh when I think stuff is funny. That's used by some of your big boys and some of your not so big boys, but I just want to share that element of comedy with you. Another one that is very important is never use notes. Also discovered an absolute rule is never wear shades. Another one is never be real nice. Capiche? Think about it. If a guy comes out trying to make you laugh and he starts telling real nice, like, nursery rhymes and fairy tales, well, I was walking down the street the other day and something very interesting happened to me. The first thing you're going to think is probably, get that guy out of here. being real nice in comedy, according to the big boys, just doesn't work. Another one is never rehearse. And the reason for that is simple. It's a little known fact that 48% of all suicides are from comedians trying to rehearse. That's related to the fact that everybody thinks comedy, if you think, what's an easy job? What could be easier than working 3 or 4 nights a week for 20 minutes? And the rest of the time, there they are. What are they doing? They're out searching for material, sitting around in cafes, enjoying life. Well, that's not the way it is, folks. The real comedians work about 72 hours a day in a world that has suddenly turned gray and motionless. Because all they do all day long is sit around trying to think of something funny. And under those conditions, nothing is funny. On those rare occasions when you do stumble into something that you maybe think might be funny, and you want to present it to one of your friends, and you say, well, will you tell me if this is kind of funny? And they say, sure, I'll be glad to help. And you tell them, and they say, that's not real funny. Another major rule of comedy is never say moving right along here. So, moving right along here, what finally happened was today at rehearsal, I started realizing that I didn't have anything to say. And I told the director of the performance, it's not working, I'm a banker, I'm not funny. Let's call it what it is. It's not happening. The director, I must say, was very nice and understanding and said, well, don't you have any real-life experiences you can draw on? And the problem there is that I'm a banker. Nothing ever happens to me. Everything stays the same. Funny things never happen to me. The funniest thing, is loaning somebody money, which doesn't really go that far. Therefore, there is nothing I got to present, and I'm about to get to the last rule of comedy, which is never say in conclusion. So in conclusion, I would like to say, be nice to your banker, because whether you realize it or not, your banker secretly fears you. And another thing that, oddly enough, on the way over here, just as I was about to leave, something did happen. All 22 of my cats gave birth. And since you've been such a wonderful audience, I brought the kittens. And when we meet downstairs in the lobby, everybody gets one to take home. And for those of you who did participate in the financial aspect of the show, we'll be meeting here about 5 a.m. to disperse the funds as soon as we move the piano.
You return to your duty, no change in your diet. It's an unwritten law. If it's strange, you don't buy it. Your feet are on the ground and your shoulders are square. A bomb couldn't even hope to muck your hair. You're impervious. You're not curious. You're set.
Oh, yeah?
Welcome to my town. You reject the beat, but that's a trick of the mind. Cause when you look down, your foot's keeping time. Oh no, your attention is impossible. Has attention is diverted to the root of the matter. We're gonna wait till next week on this one.
Haircut saloon! Regular cut for regular guys! Hey, you, Donald! Keep kind of shaggy there, I didn't recognize you! Yeah, we're gonna get you all fixed up right there. Sit and get comfortable. So tell me, how you want it cut this time?
Yeah, well, don't take any off the front and the top and leave the sides and the back the same length they are now.
Gotcha. A regular cut, huh?
Regular cut.
Hey, you say you wanted me to blow dry when I'm done?
Oh yeah, that's fine, Sammy. Listen to this. Some guy wrote a book without using a single word.
Must be much of a book.
Well, he's trying to get it in the Book of World Records as the longest book ever written. It's got 130,000 pages, and it took him 50 years to write it.
Yeah, there's nothing but kooks out there in this world. Hey, you want me to break one of these chairs over the back of your head?
Not tonight, Sammy. I was playing in a championship Little League game, and I be there.
Well, shit, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have. You know, I've been meaning to tell you, that son of yours, Donnie, he's one fine boy. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Yes, polite, well-mannered, well-behaved, good kid. Yeah, he was in here the other day. He got one of those regular cuts. Yeah, he likes his hair just like you. Hey, I think I'm out of hair cream hair. How about some rancid mayonnaise on your head?
Yeah, just a little, Sammy, just a little.
He's one heck of a kid.
Well, you know, the Lord and I have tried real hard to bring him off as a regular kid. But it's hard nowadays holding your own against all the nuts and screwballs that are out there. But they get harder and harder with every passing year.
Yeah, you can say that again. I never seen so many coops as I've seen this year.
The poop spotting, this has been a bigger every year.
You know, but how about I get some transmission parts from out of the shed and nail them on the side of your head here? Give it a little form, fill it out. Yeah, we can stick them up for back here. That ain't so much.
Well, Sammy, I'm a little pressed for time tonight. Let's leave it for next time.
Just a suggestion.
Hey, listen to this. It says here that a bunch of scientists up at MIT have proved that everybody's taste in food and clothes and friends is all genetic. It says here, all genetic.
Not for us regular guys. You want it? I forgot. You want me to leave the ears? Maybe we could just leave one. You know, go through the Van Gogh.
Well, you know, Sammy, the little woman's making meatloaf cantaloupe tonight. I'm going to eat both of them.
You mean, what you mean now?
I'll tell you, for my money, you could take 99% of the rest of the world and just get rid of it. I sleep a lot.
Yeah, you can say that. Wait a minute.
Well, maybe just a little in the left ear. No, I am taking the subway home.
The subway? Good thing I am!
This thing's still broken. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good. Well, let's get on with the briefing. Mr. Chief of Staff, I believe you still have the floor from the last meeting.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ma'am. Gentlemen, as you all realize, certain foreign and hostile powers have been crossing our territorial boundaries, and this is simply...
If I may, Mr. President, now.
Yes, Mr. Secretary of Defense, what is it?
Mr. President, ma'am, clarification as to who and Mr. Secretary of Defense definition.
Mr. Secretary of Defense, do you intend to ask for control of the floor once you are finished with your questions?
No, I do not, Mr. President, ma'am.
Then, Mr. Chief of Staff, I can see no problem with your continuing to have control of the floor once Mr. Secretary of Defense is finished.
Thank you, Mr. President, ma'am.
May I proceed, Mr. President, ma'am?
Mr. Chief of Staff sees no problem with that?
I can see no problem with that.
Well, Mr. Secretary of Defense.
My question is this, Mr. President, ma'am. Are we sure Mr. Secretary of State properly took the floor?
Objection, Mr. President.
Mr. Chief of Staff, this is not a legal proceeding. Sustained. I told you that I was not going to ask you about asking me about Mr. Chief of Staff's control of the floor.
No, you did not. You asked if I intended to ask for control of the floor.
Did not.
Did you?
Did not. Did not. I did not.
And as Mr. Secretary of Defense and you're Mr. President, ma'am, I agree that was a stupid question to ask following your question to me. If I may clarify my question.
Mr. Chief of Staff, you still have control of the floor. Do you see any problem with Mr. Secretary of Defense having control of the floor for a limited clarification?
I can see no problem with that as long as I still have control of the floor when Mr. Secretary of Defense is
finished. Yes, Mr. Chief of Staff, you still have control of the floor. Mr. Secretary of Defense, you have the floor for a limited clarification.
Then my question is this, Mr. President, ma'am. Could you ask Mr. Secretary of State his position on the Chief of Staff floor control issue presently on the floor?
Certainly.
I abstain.
Objection! Mr. President, ma'am, Mr. Secretary of State does not have control of the floor.
Mr. Chief of Staff, I told you this is not a legal proceeding.
Well, then what word am I supposed to use?
I don't know. Just stop yelling objection. I hate that word. Reminds me of my sister's husband, Mr. Attorney General.
Well, then, 899. You
I believe that Mr. Chief of Staff may be right. Even as Mr. President, ma'am, I may have exceeded my authority in allowing you or encouraging you to respond to the Secretary of Defense's limited clarification. I only have the authority to grant the limited clarification and not the clarification itself. You'll have to strike your response from the record.
Strike from the record. Sounds like a legalism if I ever heard one.
Objection! What are you doing?
I did not get my response.
He did too, and I still abstain.
He can't say that. He doesn't have the floor.
Strike that cigars and chug Mad Dog before they go up hog humping.
Mr. Secretary of State, I never expected such dirty talk from you. If I had a bar of soap, why, I would wash your mouth out.
Oh, yeah, well, that's nothing. And what's in there anyway? Soap? Yeah! He's had the floor for 7 years. I want a chance to take the floor for once. When do I get a chance to take it? You don't have control of the floor.
Well, now then, time's up. The committee for the revision of Robert's Rules of Order will adjourn until same time next week.
I thought this was Rose's Gardening Club.
I want what you do with you when
so does its ills. We at the Institute for Social Homogeneity are keenly aware of the tides of change that threaten our cultural shores. The newest neuroses that laps at our heels is the so-called Tanats syndrome, whose victims are plagued by the sensation that things are not as they seem. The symptoms of Tanat syndrome include driving down the freeway and suddenly realizing that it's impossible for 2,000 cars to drive at high speeds at 4 lanes without bumping into each other. Also reported is the compulsion to get to every destination before you're supposed to in order to catch everyone before they're forced to act normal in front of you. These victims rush home every day just to make sure that their loved ones are not hired actors. They lack the reassuring confidence in the ordinary state of affairs, the knowledge that things are as they are without looking twice. They have lost their blind faith in the mundane. We at the Institute simply wish to point out that Tanat syndrome is a passing fad, that ordinary life can and will go on. We find no scientific basis for these perceptual distortions included in Tanat syndrome, as the following clip conclusively shows.
Honey, I'm home!
Children, it's your father. He's home from work, and it's 5 minutes early. Oh no, these potatoes are still hot. Daddy, home, Daddy, do you remember?
Oh, remember what, big guy?
Oh, Dad, you forgot.
Oh, the airplane! Oh, Johnny, I'm sorry, but unless that airplane happened to jump in my back pocket, I guess I forgot it.
How do you remember? Look, my own new helicopter destroyer.
Oh, boy!
One strike from this baby will wipe out those red devil words. Dad, I thought we agreed you weren't going to keep encouraging him with all these toys on honey. I think it's making matters worse.
Oh, Betty. Boys will be boys.
But Cash, we agreed. Oh, no, my potatoes. Daddy, what'd you get me?
Who said that?
Well, I did, Daddy. It's me.
Wait, I recognize that voice. For heaven's sake, how'd you get stuck in there?
Oh, Daddy.
Oh, precious. What do you think of this?
Stop bringing them gifts every time you came home. Honey, I think you're spoiling them. My dinner's ready.
That sure smells good.
It's your favorite.
Meatloaf?
With mashed potatoes.
Kind of lumpy.
Just the way you love them.
Well, honey, I've got some good news.
Mr. Caldwell's giving you the full 5 days vacation this year?
Better than that. A full week. It's a bonus for those glow-in-the-dark toilet seats I developed.
Oh, honey. I'm so proud. I'll have to call Mother and tell her we're staying 2 more days.
Dad, if we go to Grandma's again, are we going to have to stay in the same room again?
Yeah, I mean, last year Mom snored so bad. I mean, I didn't get any sleep for 4 days.
4 days. Try it for 10 years.
Why can't we go somewhere fun for a change? You know, Johnny Slater's parents take him to the beach every year.
Beach! I'm going to the beach, not Grandma.
Now, children, you know we have to be putting some away for your college education.
But Dad, I'm only 6 and she's just 4.
Your grandmother, she's on the phone. She'd like to speak to you.
My family. It doesn't get any better than this.
Well, it's all set, dear. Mother's expecting us for 2 more days.
That's great. Honey, fix me a beer, will you?
Jack, in front of the kids.
Well, make it a light. Yeah, who are you? How'd you get
Man's home is his castle. I'm gonna put my foot down. Nobody's pulling the wool over my eyes, no sirree. I'm going to set things right. Yeah, Johnny boy, you know that weapons are instruments of destruction. You know, you gotta be careful with those things. Don't hurt people. And Mary, now you need some respect for people. Can't own Christy Brinkley. Huh? Okay?
That's better. Thank you, Jack. I'm proud of you for putting your foot down. Things were really getting out of hand.
I know. Good families gotta have a strong man at the helm.
And you're the strongest.
You doing your hair differently?
Why is that?
Nothing, I guess. How's the station wagon running?
Oh, just fine, just like the other one.
The other wagon.
Right.
Once again for the finale, Gladys, Tabernacle, and the Pews.